The town was engulfed in silence. The evening sun had disappeared, and a cold darkness had settled over the air. People who used to fill the streets with noise and joy had now locked themselves in their homes. Strange sounds came from the forest near the river. No one dared to ignore them, but their fears deepened. Because those sounds, they were odd, muffled, terrifying sounds.
Ollie, a brave 10-year-old boy, felt that something was wrong that night. He was home alone. His family had gone to visit some relatives, and while playing on his computer, he suddenly heard a tapping sound on the window. Ollie, ears alert, slowly approached the window. And then his eyes widened as he saw something in the darkness. A silhouette, coming from the depths of the forest, was heading down the street towards his house, but it wasn't a human. Ollie's breath caught in his chest. The silhouette wasn't walking like a human. He noticed immediately. Its head was strangely tilted, and its body parts were misshapen. It wasn't moving steadily, its steps were uneven, shaky. It was stumbling toward the street, and it was not alone. More figures followed, more of them, all moving in the same eerie way. Zombies! Ollie's fear took over his heart, but then he heard a voice. It was his mother's voice. "Ollie, what are you doing?" In a panic, he turned around, only to hear a strange whisper imitating his mother's voice. Ollie's breath hitched as he slowly looked back at the window. Outside, a zombie with swollen eyes and decayed skin had appeared. Ollie froze. At that moment, the entire town became sleepless. More zombies emerged one after another. Ollie stared at the street without blinking. With every passing second, the numbers increased. They were all moving slowly but surely, their heads constantly banging against walls. Their mutilated limbs hung loosely, scraping along the ground with an awful sound. What were once the peaceful citizens of the town were now dead, but still walking, still alive in some twisted way. Ollie's insides twisted. He wanted to find a way out, but he didn't know what to do. He was alone at home, and the town was completely covered in darkness. He quickly closed the door, but it wasn't enough. He could hear the zombies' dreadful breath, the sounds of their footsteps, the terrible creaking of their decaying bodies, grew closer. Suddenly, the door slammed. Ollie, unable to think clearly, crawled under his bed, holding his breath. The zombies began knocking at the door. The awful scraping noise of their hands clawing at the wood sent chills through him. The air was thick with fear. One of the zombies began to push against the door. Ollie's pulse raced as he lay still, praying it wouldn't find him. But as the door creaked open, a decaying hand reached inside. Ollie, desperate, tried to move but froze in terror as the zombie came closer, almost upon him. But then, something strange happened. The zombie stopped. It didn't move. It stood still, eyes locked onto something outside. And that's when Ollie heard another scream from the town. The zombies had shifted their attention elsewhere. Ollie's heart skipped a beat as he realized these creatures had a purpose. They weren't just aimlessly wandering. They wanted something: brains. Zombies were tearing through the town, destroying houses and wreaking havoc. But there was one thing: in the darkness outside, something had fallen silent. That was where their leader was. If that creature could be destroyed, the rest would follow. Ollie, despite his fear, made a plan to get out. He would distract the zombies and sneak out the back door. As he carefully snuck through, his heart pounded, and the town seemed to have become a parade of the dead. Every step was a risk, but he had to find a way. He couldn't let the zombies win.